guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rise. We're back at one of my favorite filming spot locations because guess what? We have that all-new model from Alfa Romeo, and it may surprise you. It's this vehicle right here. This is a 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonale. This is the top Veloce trim. But before we get into this small pasta rocket all-wheel drive plug-in electric hybrid crossover SUV, let's talk about what's going on here. Alfa Romeo, just when you thought that they were maybe done selling cars here in the United States, they are now bringing an all-new vehicle to their lineup. Of course, being part of the Stellantis brand, and this vehicle being partnered up with the Dodge Hornet is bringing some Italian flair, but also some plug-in electric hybrid technology. Now, when it comes to luxury, when it comes to performance, and when it comes to European style, there's a lot of choices out there. BMWs, Mercedes Benz, Audi. Alfa Romeo is saying that they have something that is gonna bring the best of all worlds when it comes to the look, the drive, and the utility. So let's go ahead, let's dive into this Tonale and find out, is it better than a BMW X1 or a Mercedes Benz GLA? And is it the best new luxury SUV that you should be buying? Let's go ahead and find out. Right off the bat, the color. White may sound like no big deal, but on the Tonale, it actually works really well, especially with the dark gray accents. Now at the front of the business, you're gonna see probably one of the sexiest headlight designs ever. You got your triple LED beam headlights. Love the way they did their signature daytime running lamps and turn signals. Working your way down, functional corner air curtains, and then there is some of that dark gray finish. It's better than just gloss black. It's got a nice metallic gray tinge to it, and the way that they matched it nicely on the corners and also in the center grille really shows that attention to detail. Now as we come across the center, there's that iconic badge of Alfa Romeo and the shape of their grille, that upside down triangle, forward facing camera. You're not going to confuse this crossover SUV with anything else, and I'm telling you, from the front, it really has my heart pitter-pattering, especially with the open areas that are functional on both sides. Like I said, it's all about the attention to detail. As we rise up, you have that low slung hood. They actually create a notch in the hood to go around that mighty Alfa Romeo badge. And then just like you would expect from an Italian brand, smooth, soft curves that just look great. Now, when you come around the bend, what are we working with? Wheel and tire setup. So what you're gonna find on the Veloce is this bright metallic silver rotary dial style wheel. I actually dig the style of Alfa Romeo wheels, especially when you look at the 4C, when you look at the Stelvio and the Giulia Quadrifolios, and definitely on this Tonale Veloce. Nice clean design. You're gonna have the 4-piston Brembo calipers with the Alfa Romeo branding. We do have regen braking because this is a plug-in electric hybrid, and we have all-wheel drive capability with electric motors being out on that rear axle. Now, like you saw up front, instead of having gloss black, we have this metallic gray finish all the way around the fender opening. I think it looks tasteful. I'm curious though what it would look like if it was all white, especially with this nice bright white that they have. We have Pilot Sport all-season 4 tires, all 4 corners, for no matter what Mother Nature is gonna throw at you. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, what is the size of this wheel? You'll notice 20-inch wheel, 235 on the width, 40 series sidewall. Coming down the side of the vehicle, you got power folding mirrors, LED turn signals. Look at the way we have the tricolore of the Italian flag, 360-degree cameras, panoramic sunroof. My one zonk is I wish they would have blacked out the whole roof. Let me know what you think. You have your tinted glass, and then you have bright white. Sort of looks unfinished. Would like it to be all black up top. Along the bottom, you got that nice side sill extension with our smoky metallic gray finish. Color matched on the door handles. Open up door number 1. This is where you're gonna do all of your charging for it being a plug-in electric hybrid. Close it up, and then we swing it around back. One of the things I would have done, especially if this is an Italian vehicle, since it is an Italian vehicle, get rid of this wiper. Zonk all day long, put it underneath here, extend that out a little bit, but look at the way they did the taillights. A thing of beauty, just light perfection. Of course, all this will light up at night. You have your Alfa Romeo badge in the center, the Tonale script. And then because this is the Veloce, you are gonna get single-sided exhaust on both sides, nice oval opening slash cut, and they did a great job with the lower bumper area. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and talk performance of this Tonale. As we got the hood popped open, you do have hydraulic hood struts, not the sexiest engine cover whatsoever, but you'll notice you do have turbocharged power. So what are we exactly talking about on this Alfa Romeo Tonale? You're looking at a 1.3 liter turbocharged inline four that when you pair it with the electric motors puts out 285 horsepower, 347 pound-feet of torque. It is connected to a 14.8 kilowatt lithium ion battery pack. It uses a 6-speed automatic transmission and has all-wheel drive with that electric motor on the rear axle. So when we look at performance, 0 to 60 in 5.5 seconds, quarter mile in 14.2 seconds, top speed is limited to 125 miles an hour. Now here's the MPGs. You're looking at 23 in the city, 29 on the highway. Combined, it's 60 MPGs. EV range, pure electrification, is gonna be around 30 miles on a single charge. But this is the setup that I really think is the most successful because you get to have your cake and eat it too. You get the extended range of having that plug-in versatility, but when the juice runs out, you're not just left stranded on the side of the road because you have that internal combustion turbocharged engine. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire it up and see this Tonale go. All right, guys, we're inside this pure snow white of a Tonale Veloce trim. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, this thing kind of looks fun. I love the style of it, the Italian flair. I'm very curious about range and everything. It had some great numbers. How much is it? So this being the top trim, MSRP, with the way that you see it, is right at $56,700. Let's see what you get for the money. To the door panels. I do like the clean style. Soft touch material up top. What I would have liked to have seen is a little bit more contrast stitching, or some stitching period. The gray around where the door handle is tasteful. You do have the premium sound speaker grill cover there. Everything else is soft leather with some stitching. Pretty decent sized door pocket. You could easily get one of Joey's Pizza's calzones in there and a bottle of IBC root beer to wash it down. Now, when you go to the door panel to the dash, they did the AC vents nice. They should have done this trim a little bit more like on the door panels because it's very tasteful, soft touch material, stitching, and then look at what we got. The all new Uconnect 5 10.25-inch infotainment system, full touchscreen capability, nice clean graphics, navigation, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, all of course wireless. You could go into your surround camera. I just wish that the resolution was a little bit clearer. But it's nice to have the 360 camera out the front, camera out the back. You could have your camera every which way from Sunday, and then you just X out to get back to where we started. You could go into my car, talk about my car. There it is. I like the way it's got the see-through. You can see the suspension and everything. We could go into e-hybrid. You could set up your power, look at your power flow, driving history, the whole shebang. Performance, that's what I like. You have technical gauges and auxiliary gauges or accessory gauges, oil temp, transmission temp, voltmeter. Nicely done. And then you're right back to home. Working your way down, did a great job on the style of the AC vents, nice toggle switches with your dual climate control. Working our way down, 12 volt, USB-C, USB-A, wireless charging, and I love their mode selector switch. Especially when we look back at the infotainment system, the graphics are just very, very clear, very Italian, very sporty. So really am digging how they did that effect with the graphics. And then of course back here we got more stitching, more leather with that 6-speed automatic transmission. You got a volume knob, electric e-brake. You could do an e-save, which is smart because say you want to save the electric boost for when you get to the twisty bits, you hit this and it'll actually save the electrical juice in your lithium-ion battery. 2 cup holders. There's more of that silver trim from the dash that I like. Very good looking key fob. The only problem is it's a little on the large side. But you do have remote start. Love the way it's got the Alfa Romeo script. And when somebody is freaking out over your Tonale, hit that button and medical team will come to their assistance. You got that nice Italian leather with the stitching, lift it up. You could easily put, I would say, a baker's dozen of breadsticks from Olive Garden. And that's one of the nice things is that they're bottomless, just like the salad. Seats, you got your nice logo, the Alfa Romeo logo, the stitching, perforated, great bolstering. You do have electric assist for the passenger, electric assist for the driver, and we have, like I told you, that panoramic sunroof, which is really nice with the power shade. But why don't you get your butt over here? I have a flat bottom steering wheel and ginormous paddles I want to show you. Come on over. All right, guys, we got 3 memory seat settings for the driver's seat. We do have the Alfa Romeo aluminum sill plate looking good. Decent pedal box with an aluminum brake pedal and throttle. I just would like to see an aluminum dead pedal, for God's sakes. There's only like 2 brands that do it, and Alfa Romeo is not one of them. So that's a zonk. Seat controls are a little low to get to, but still nice to have that full electric assist. Steering wheel is the best thing on this interior. I love the 2-piece leather, just the way it feels in my hand with the flat bottom. You got your start stop button right on the steering wheel like a freaking race car, that iconic badge. And then look at the surfboard style. It's like a freaking kayak size paddle for that 6-speed automatic transmission, and they're bolted to the steering column, not the steering wheel. Manual tilting and telescoping steering wheel. And then you got that 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster. Nice clear graphics. Lots of information in the center to scroll through, including, give it a second, be patient. I know it's difficult. The triangle is there, but you do have your navigation there as well. We're just sitting in a weird parking lot with no roads around us. There's a bunch of trees and navigation doesn't show trees. But it's nice to have all these different auxiliary gauges and stuff in the center there. Actually, a nice environment to sit in. Seats feel good. I got plenty of headroom. I'm 6 feet tall, remember. This is a compact, almost subcompact. Let's get in the back seat and see if your passengers are gonna be happy that you went Italiano with this Alfa Romeo. All right, guys, we're in the back seat, and the great news is they did a great job carving out this headliner to allow people even 6 foot tall like myself to have plenty of headroom. You got the nice soft leather all the way around. Good sized pockets. Easily put a few wooden spoons back here, and I don't know about you, I remember growing up and fearing the wooden spoon. And if you're not Italian like I am, or this Alfa Romeo, you might not know my pain. Physical pain, that is, growing up. Back of the command center, you have these really interesting vertical AC vents, a USB-C and a USB-A. Sitting here, it's a little weird because I feel like I'm sitting on the seat and not in the seat like I am up front. So that to me is a little bit of an issue. Good news is, ooh, soft like a freaking fresh baked lasagna right out of the oven on that armrest. 2 cup holders, and I like the way they did the stitching. But let's get to the last piece of this Italian pizza pie puzzle. Let's check out the cargo area of this Alfa Romeo. Cargo area time, real simple. Hit that button underneath, and that's gonna allow the electric assist lift back to lift on up, you're gonna be greeted to about 24 cubic feet of space. Fold down that back seat, that's gonna give you over 50 cubic feet of space. Now the good news is you do have a 12-volt power source in the back, nicely located. The other good news is that when you lift up the cargo floor, you'll also find your full charging accessories, plus you could put some snacks back here. A couple tubes of Pringles goes a very long way, but you'll notice that when you see this, we don't have a spare. You get a can of Flat Fix, and you have an electric air compressor, but no actual spare. I'm not worried about the spare right now. What I'm worried about is going on throttle. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go for a little fun, spirited drive in the guys, we are in this Alfa Romeo Tonale Veloce. I'm gonna manually shift with the massive pedals on throttle. One thing to realize is that it's a counterclockwise tachometer. Not my favorite, the way it spins backwards, but once you get used to it, it gets you a little bit more familiarized. Definitely shifting with the paddles is the way to go if you want that instantaneous connected feel. Other than that, when you're in regular automatic mode, it does feel a little disconnected, especially when you first go on throttle. Now, the good news is that you're not really waiting for the boost from the 1.3 liter turbocharged inline-4 because of the electric motors, especially on the rear axle. Visibility is actually quite good because they have the A-pillars pulled very far apart. Another thing I wish I could do is make the gear indicator a little larger. It's very, very small, all the way in that lower right-hand area of the instrumentation. But when it comes to handling, because of the battery, it really provides very nice characteristics. And what I mean by that is that there's not a bunch of body roll because the lithium-ion battery pack helps lower the center of gravity. Getting to the 10.25-inch infotainment system is well within reach. You also have ambient colors on the interior to choose from. Obviously, during the daytime, I can't show you. But let's go on throttle. So, I think it's got enough oomph to be playful, but like I said, using the paddles is what helps it be a little bit more playful. I kind of was wishing it had a little bit more instantaneous torque, to be honest with you. But the overall style of the interior is very modern and very Italian. You don't look around and are like, oh, this is a Dodge button, this is a Dodge switch. It's like it feels very unique. And even though you may not love the floating style of the infotainment system, it is very clear and very easy to reach. One of the things though that kind of bothers me is that if you want to do seat controls, you have to actually do it through the touchscreen. And when you're trying to drive, that's where it gets a little complicated. But you do have ventilated seats and heated seats, which is a nice addition and kind of expected at $56,000. But going up and down, the 6-speed automatic is actually pretty smooth with this Tonale. Let me go ahead and accelerate from a dead stop here. Nobody's behind us. On throttle, here we go. So like I said, you're not waiting for the torque to kick in from the turbocharger. You're getting that instant torque from the electric motor. And then handling wise, steering is really, really nicely done. The steering wheel itself feels superb. And then really the biggest surprise driving a plug-in electric hybrid is having that lower center of gravity. Of course, on top of that, you're gonna have all the safety features, blind spot monitoring, lane keep assist, all those things to keep you and your passenger safe. But watch this through this left-right transaction. It's actually very, very balanced. You're not getting a bunch of body roll out of this SUV, which is nice. That really is gonna surprise you. And then of course, having those paddles, you're never gonna miss a shift. I know not everybody likes the paddles bolted to the steering column, but you'll actually get used to that with a little bit of practice. I'm actually gonna make a U-turn here. I'm gonna keep on filming. Let me make a little bit of a U-turn. Not the greatest turning radius, but once you go on throttle, here we go. Would like a little bit more sound, definitely out of the exhaust, and definitely inside this cabin to be a little bit more performance oriented. But like I said, when it comes to the torque, when you're in the sweet spot, it feels good. Look at this, nice and balanced. Brakes are good. You got those Brembos up front. You got some regen braking to help slow you down. And you have that gauge in the center there showing you when the charging is taking place and when you're on the power. Would be kind of cool if, like the Hornet plug-in electric hybrid, you had that boost option. That would be a little extra kind of performance add-on that they should have put inside this Tonale. I feel like the Tonale got the short end of the breadstick when looking between this and the Hornet. And that would be the Hornet RT, of course. But the front seats feel good. Enough bolstering to make things decent for you, but you're not gonna get squished like a ravioli in here. But I'm actually quite impressed with how the 6-speed is performing overall, especially going up and down the transmission. Let's go on throttle again from a dead stop here. On throttle, here we go. Just that reverse tack kind of freaks me out sometimes. I like it clockwise. That just makes sense to me. I don't know why they got to do it backwards. I guess to make the graphics balance between the speedometer and the tachometer. But it's interesting what they're bringing at this price point, especially with the plug-in aspect of it. On throttle, here we go. All the way up to red line. Red line's around 5,800 RPM. On those brakes. But hopefully this has been a nice overall review of what the Tonale is bringing for $56,000. We're gonna get back to where it all started, so I will see you in a tomato sauce second. All right, guys, it's been a hot Tonale kind of day out here on Rady's Rise. Definitely want to thank Nick and the rest of the crew over at Alfa Romeo for getting us access to another 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonale Veloce. Let me know what you think. Is this checking off the boxes for you? Do you think it's a Italian meatball sub home run? Let me know down in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Rady's Rise family. Of course, we need to give it up to Stephen Flood Photography, working that camera like a champ. He just recently won a spaghetti eating competition at a local pasta place here in Tampa. So wish him some congratulations in that comment section. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.